Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2020 Ultimate Power Lunch to benefit Dress for Success Charlotte. It is my honor to open this year's program and to recognize Dress for Success Charlotte for advancing women's upward economic mobility and for providing the workforce development services and support critical to strengthening families and community. More than 10,000 unemployed and underemployed women have walked through the doors of Dress for Success Charlotte, seeking job preparedness, job acquisition, employment retention, and career advancement. And it doesn't stop there. Additional services to help women thrive in work and in life include financial education and health and wellness. As you will hear in today's program, for many women, their association with Dress for Success Charlotte is not a one and done. It's not transactional. It is a journey that may last throughout the span of one's career. It is a place she can return to as often as she wants to and as often as she needs to. And for many, they may return after several years, as is the case this year when so many have been impacted by COVID-19. As the mayor of Charlotte, I know all too well the challenges women have while trying to balance work and family life. And for single mothers, especially minority populations, we are disproportionately impacted. Helping women succeed is the smart thing to do. It's the right thing to do. When you lift a woman out of poverty, you may lift as many as 6 family members. Thank you for joining with us today to learn more about the work of this organization and its impact. I invite you to join with me in support of Dress for Success Charlotte.
Nelson Mandela once said, "If you want to change the world, help the women." Hi, I'm Jay Everett with the Wells Fargo Foundation, and Wells Fargo is pleased to once again be the presenting sponsor of this year's Dress for Success annual event. We've supported this organization with over $250,000 in the past to help promote the fact that they invest in women and helping them to lead empowered lives. So I'm at the Mint Museum uptown, which is an appropriate place to be because right now behind me there's an epic installation going on by a female contemporary artist, Summer Wheat. It actually takes women and puts them in roles that art history traditionally placed men in. The bankers, the lawyers, the attorneys, even the beekeepers, the fishermen, that type of thing. And she puts women into those positions because she wants to turn the model on its head and remind everybody that women are empowered and women can change the world. We know that that's what Dress for Success is all about too, and that's why we're excited to be here to celebrate with you for your 20th anniversary.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this year's Ultimate Power Lunch. Joining me today is Fontella McKyer, our Director of Workforce Development Services. So going virtual this year has certainly created some challenges, but the opportunities and silver linings far outweigh the obstacles. Without limited seating capacity, we were able to open the doors this year to more people in Charlotte and to people around the country, a few who you'll meet today. A very special thank you to Mayor Vi Lyles for her wonderful welcome and invitation to each of you to join with us in supporting the mission of the organization. And to Jay Everett and Wells Fargo for their continued and very generous support to help us bring this event to you and to ensure the organization has the resources to meet the growing unemployment and underemployment needs of the women and their families in our community. 2020 will be remembered for many things. Among the most notable moment was losing a special member of our Dress for Success family and really a great friend of the greater Charlotte community. Sarah Belk Gambrell. Here to share a few words about Sarah is another dear friend of the organization, Coletta Bryce.
Good afternoon. I'm Coletta Bryce, past board chair and currently a community advisor for Dress for Success Charlotte. In July, we lost one of our own, Mrs. Sarah Belk Gambrell. The poem The Dash comes to mind when I think of Sarah. You know, the year one is born and the year one passes are both really important dates. But it's that dash in between that really matters. The dash tells us how one lives their life and what they will be remembered for. Sarah's legacy cannot be summed up in just a few words. She was a pioneer in so many ways and a true champion of women, children, and the less fortunate. At Dress for Success, she was a friend, donor, volunteer, mentor, and connector. She was a true inspiration to so many. Sarah was a founding member of the Community Advisors, a group of community and civic leaders committed to advancing the mission of the organization by utilizing their contacts and influence to connect resources to the needs of our clients. The Ultimate Power Lunch was something Sarah always supported, and she greatly looked forward to each year. You may remember that it was on the stage at the Fillmore just a few years ago when accepting the Paradigm Award that she took her very first selfie with her daughter, Sally. While Sarah is no longer here with us in person, she is certainly here with us in spirit. Thank you, Sarah, for your lifelong commitment of creating access and opportunity, and for helping to lift people out of poverty and onto a path of economic upward mobility. Please join me in remembering and honoring a life well lived.
Thank you, Coletta. What a beautiful reflection of a lovely woman. Another woman who is near and dear to the organization is Cynthia Marshall.
Oh my gosh, Cynt is doing amazing work to amplify and elevate women and their families. As we celebrated our 10th anniversary back in 2010, Cynt was right there with us. She is a true champion of the organization and really to our most vulnerable populations. It is my pleasure to welcome back to Charlotte, Cynt Marshall.
Hello, Cynt. Welcome back to Charlotte. Oh my gosh, Curry, it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's been too long. You look amazing. You look amazing.
You do as well. And I am just thrilled that you're joining with us for our 20th anniversary. Can you believe it?
No, I can't. 20 years of doing just some amazing, amazing things and doing things to lift up women. Oh my goodness. That's quite a legacy. That's quite a legacy.
Well, if you would, we have some folks joining us for the first time today. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then let's talk about some of the amazing things that you're doing to advance women.
Okay, I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version. You know, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, even though I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. Folks left there when I was a baby. So grew up in the Easter Hill Public Housing Projects in Richmond, California. So grew up poor, but fortunately had, and I still have an amazing mom who taught us it's not where you live, it's how you live. And so she put a math book in one hand and a Bible in the other and said, keep your head in these books. And so a lot of things happened, as you know, Curry, from my background with domestic violence, father leaving us when I was 15, all of that. And, the village wrapped around us. And I know we'll talk about that later, the importance of even the work that you do to lift women up out of poverty, and people rallied around my mother. And I ended up going to college, University of California at Berkeley, and then started at AT&T when I got out, and the rest is history. So definitely did not have a silver spoon or gold spoon in my mouth, but had a lot of people rally around me, like what you all do every day with Dress for Success in Charlotte, the whole workforce development, all that. People rallied around us and lifted us out of poverty, and here I am.
Here you are in this amazing leadership role with the Dallas Mavericks. And I know that Mark Cuban personally tapped you for that role after doing some research on how he could change things in the front office. And I read what you did in the first 100 days. Amazing.
It was an honor. Now, what a lot of people don't know is we were actually getting ready to move back to North Carolina. Not California. We were going to come back to North Carolina after I had retired from AT&T. And I ended up getting that call from Mark as a result of a Sports Illustrated article. And I walked in, and as you know, I took that job, Curry, for the sisterhood. I took it for the sisterhood. Yeah. There were just some things that needed to be done, thanks to just a lot of things in my background, a lot of work that we did together in North Carolina. I was just equipped. I was just uniquely equipped to come in and help with the cause around lifting up and empowering women. And we've empowered the men too. And so we've had a lot of good things happen in the past 2 years.
So let's talk a little bit about diversity and inclusion, because I know it's a key focus area.
So, I like to talk a lot about the speak up culture. And so not just speaking up in the workplace, but speaking up in your personal lives, speaking up in the community, because we all have a role to play. And Curry, I know, we know the business case for diversity. We know we are better, stronger, just better together. And so when you have a diverse group of people around the table, in the room, we make better decisions. We lift up communities, but it's not just about diversity. It's also about inclusion and making sure people have a sense of belonging. And so I always like to describe it as diversity is being invited to the party, but inclusion is being asked to dance. So you're just not there, but you're actually contributing. People are teaching you the rules. And so that's what we have to all do. And then there's that equity piece. And equity is about fairness. It's about meeting somebody where they are, which is what you all do so well with Dress for Success, meeting people where they live and giving them what they need. And it may be different than what somebody else needs. And so the fact that you're focused on diversity and inclusion, and I know equity is a part of your value system, you're doing some great stuff out there. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep focusing on all three of them because they are distinct, but they all matter.
We so greatly appreciate you joining with us, and we'll continue to read your CEO Corner at the Dallas Mavericks and learn from you as you continue to lift women and their families. And so for that, we are extremely grateful that you joined us.
I love you. I miss you, sister. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. You're doing amazing work. It's in my heart. Even here in Dallas, it is in my heart what you are doing. So good luck. Call on me anytime. I love you.
I will certainly do that. Thank you, Cint. I know you will always be on the other side of the phone for us. Fontella, you've been with the organization now for more than 10 years. Tell us a little bit about your role as our Director of Workforce Development Services.
Absolutely. As the Director of Workforce Development, I've been tasked with actually providing programming that impacts the more than 800 women that we serve on an annual basis in the following ways. So we're predominantly known, I think, for our suiting program. That's how we're most known in the community, Curry, and you know that. We've been spending a lot of time really trying to re-educate, I think, the community about the other services that we provide, that we've evolved beyond the suit. Those services include our job preparedness services that we provide to our clients, in addition to our job retention program for those women who have come to us who have secured employment. Underneath that pillar, then our financial education program. But within that professional women's group space, we're also talking about health and wellness. All those things our women need to know in order to stay employed. So it's really about how do we help them retain employment.
You know, we have a lot of new guests joining us today for the first time. Let's talk about the remark that Mayor Lyles made, that if you lift a woman out of poverty, as many as 6 family members may follow. What was she talking about?
Yeah, I think that goes back to my earlier statement that oftentimes when people think of Dress for Success, Curry, first thing they think about our direct services that we provide to our clients. But we know that it's truly more than that. It's about the entire family and the impact that happens to that woman and her family members. And as Mayor Lyles said, you know, the majority of those services that we provide to the women are single heads of household. So it's really critical and important when we look at programming that we design that with that in mind.
You know, that's true. 86% of the women that we serve who are mothers are single head of household. You know, one of our community partners, the Charlotte Hornets, I often hear Coach Borrego talk about his experience growing up in a single head of household. So here we have a son who grew up under the careful and watchful eye of a single mother. He emphasizes the impact and the importance of community and networks, especially for single mothers. Let's hear from Coach Borrego.
Growing up in a home with a strong single mom impacted my life for the better. And I wouldn't be here today without her. She taught me resiliency, hard work, how to never give up, how to care about others, how to be unselfish. And those were all qualities that she reflected early on in my life. It's extremely important coming from a single parent home that you have the support around you, that you have neighbors, friends, family members, a network around you to support you along the way. Life is extremely complicated. It's tough, it's a journey, there's highs, there's lows, and especially in today's economic climate, there's a lot of lows, a lot of hurting families. the way you help each other out is by having a community, having others that support you, that help push you forward. On the days that are tough, pick you up so you can walk your journey.
Thanks, Coach. I know we'll have a chance to connect with you again later in the program. Fontella, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we have a couple of women that have been with us for really more than a decade. Mm-hmm. Will you help us introduce our special guests?
Absolutely. Our first guest is Linda Curtis, and I am so honored to really introduce Linda. I've been with the organization, Curry, as you mentioned, a decade, but so has Linda. As a matter of fact, she's been here a little bit longer than I have. One of my fondest memories of Linda, we talk oftentimes about our women in our PWG program, Professional Women's Group, actually learning how to take advantage of the tools and resources that we provide to them. And that's exactly what Linda has exuded. Back in 2011, I don't know if you know this, but when Linda connected to our Going Places Network program, that's where she decided to go back to school.
Yeah,
and so
right.
Enrolled at CPCC, and now she has her degree in hospitality. Another cool fact, which I'm always amazed with, is the fact that Linda, when she was in our program, she said, you know what, Fontella, I'm not really sure what it is that I want to be when I grow up, if you will. And there were two things that came to mind. The first being that she wanted to be a property manager and she wanted to be a flight attendant. Guess what? She did both.
She did.
And decided that none of those things really resonated with her. So the thing I love most about Linda is that she's true to herself and she knows who she is. She knows who she is. So with that, here's Linda.
Pretty much my story began at the loss of my husband when he was only 42 years old. Had a little girl and a little boy, ages 5 and 7. And I had an opportunity after that to start my own business. And that was during the 2006, 2008 when everything went bad. So I had lost my business. It was right before my daughter's graduation. And I kind of lost reality at that point and went into a very deep depression. When I lost my husband, I only had a GED education, and Goodwill introduced me to a program with an organization called Dress for Success. I walked into Dress for Success. At that point, I had nothing. And I told them, that I was pretty hopeless and I definitely felt pretty lost. The ladies there suited me for a few outfits. I walked out of there. I shared with them that I felt like a princess, and I'll never ever forget that. The ladies have always been there for me. The times got a little bit better, but was still considerably rough when I went to school. School was not easy going back. I'm 63 years old, so there was 53 years old when I started back. The ladies there with Dress for Success and PWG were right there with me. In 2014, I gained my associate's degree. Since then, as far as education, I have gone back in and started further education in human services so that I can help others in a way that I have been helped. As a result of being able to save money, to put money aside, and to be able to accomplish the education, I have now gone from homeless and hopeless to actually being a homeowner. And I'll say that I thought that was impossible, and with the financial education, Dress for Success has been there through this whole process too, of being able to be encouraging in, like I said, camaraderie and the different things that we've learned as far as mindset. That's been very, very important. But I'm very grateful. And like I said, now I'm in Myrtle Beach, and I still, through virtual, I still get to help. And I will always, I can say with great confidence, I will always be a part of Dress for Success in whatever way I can. We don't ever know where other women are coming from in their lives. And We want to be able to help women to succeed, to put a smile on their face. And that's what Dress for Success does. It's not just an instant coming in for a suiting program, but it's all of the education and the things that we can have along the journey. And it is really about the journey. It's not just a destination, because I'm not there yet. And I'm going places and going strong, but I'm not at the end of my story yet, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Before we meet our next guest, let's talk about COVID-19. What a crazy year this has been for us. Tell us a little bit about how that has impacted not only the women we're serving, but really how we deliver our programs and services.
No, absolutely. You're right, Curry. 2020 has been a crazy year for us, for sure. With COVID, with the women, the one thing that I've continuously told them is that crisis equals opportunity. And I think that's exactly what COVID has done. I think for many of our women, they have been met with many challenges and obstacles, and then COVID just presented a whole waterfall of more, right? With that, I know initially for us, we've been talking about how we can expand, our resources and move beyond brick and mortar. And I think what COVID honestly has done is really allowed us to really reimagine how we deliver services. One of the things I think of earlier on when you and I and our team were really trying to figure out how are we going to pivot? How are we going to really make the shift to ensure that we can still have the up close and personal interaction with our clients in the way that we've really become accustomed to. And I know I recently told you that if anyone had ever told me that I would be running a Zoom meeting, I would have said, you're kidding, no way. But we're doing it. We're doing it, and our women are loving it. I think, when we talk about COVID, one of the things that's becoming an emerging topic is mental health.
Right.
Just in Sunday's paper, there was an article in the Parade magazine where Parade has really joined forces with the Cleveland Clinic to talk about and really do a pulse check. How are Americans really doing in this environment? And that study really cited that 55% of the people in our country have reported being impacted with some sort of mental health issue as a result of COVID-19.
And I think too that 55% is woefully below what we see. Because we're dealing with women in poverty who have challenges now with so many other things. I would imagine that those numbers are much higher than that.
Yeah.
So the focus on mental health is critical in this day and age.
I would absolutely agree. Our next special guest is Brenda Patterson, who's also an ambassador in our Professional Women's Group program. One of the things I love about Brenda's story is you're going to hear that she's a product of the foster care system.
Yeah.
Back in 2016, Curry, that when she was selected to be our Success Summit delegate, she led a project called Open Hearts. And so when I think of Brenda, that's exactly what comes to mind, a woman who has a heart that's so open and full and wanting to exude love and just give back to so many. One of the things that in the midst of this pandemic that we found ourselves in, many of our women have come together, a sense of community, if you will, going back to that village statement, to really just rally around one another to provide support. Brenda and many others have done that. And so I am honored to have the opportunity to really introduce Brenda. One tip I think you don't know about Brenda is that she talks about financial education and financial literacy. Well, shortly after completing financial education a couple years ago, she actually was invited to sit on the board for the State Employees Credit Union. Did you know that?
I did not.
See, a cool fact.
That's great.
Yes, so
let's meet Brenda.
Let's meet Brenda.
Okay.
I grew up part of in foster care. I lived with my mother for several years, and she no longer could care for us. From there, after my aunt discovered that we were in the foster care system, she came and got us out, and she took us to live with her for some time. And that's not a life that you would choose for yourself if you had the opportunity not to. But from there, I went into banking for several years. I worked in banking in New York for about 24 years. I've decided that I was tired of commuting, tired of riding the bus, so I said, we're gonna move back to North Carolina. I was originally born in North Carolina. So we moved back to North Carolina. I believe we were here about a year, and then we discovered that my son, my youngest son, had cancer. So that was something traumatic, because that's not what a parent wants to hear when you take your child to the doctor. So we did chemo and radiation for several years. I then found myself unemployed at that time, and I was going to Goodwill. And Goodwill give you training, but they don't suit you for the job. They get you ready to go on that interview. So when you came in here and they said, well, we're gonna pick out some outfits for you, and we're gonna let you try these outfits on, and you could see in the mirror how you look in those outfits. And you got in the mirror and you were like, wow, okay, that looks good to go on an interview. And then they said, well, we're gonna give you additional outfits to go with that in case you want something different. And they helped you get together a couple of outfits. And when you walked out of here, all you could say was, wow, I can't believe I got this. I was so excited, I called my sister and I explained it to her, and she said, wow, that's great. And everyone that I spoke to, they said, well, you can sign up and you could come to the programs that we offer here. Here at Dress for Success, they teach us about empowering yourself. You have to empower yourself. And like I could say, I am an empowered woman. I have full-time employment. I have full-time benefits. And I've learned to have confidence in my job. Dress for Success has been a learning experience. It's been a very wild ride. I got to come and be with all of the women. They've become like a second sister to you, a close friend. And you spent time with them. Some of them, we would go to the movies on the weekend and see a movie, or we would meet somewhere and have something to eat. So it became a close-knit family. And if you needed something or needed help or assistance, or you didn't understand something, any one of them could help you. We had the wonderful people here at Dress for Success. If we needed assistance, we could go to them and talk to them, and they would help you or direct you or show you where you could go to get some help. I've been with Dress for Success for 8 to 9 years. I love the company, I love the women, so it's become like a home away from home.
You know, I don't care how many times I hear these stories. I love them. It just reminds us of why we're here doing what we do. And one of the greatest rewards and experiences that we get to, you know, live here at Dress for Success is witnessing their journeys. And the more that our clients utilize our services, our statistics tell us that the greater their success. So while some will come through our doors one time, some will come 30 times in a year or over many years. And now Linda's a homeowner. Brenda's better positioned for retirement. It's amazing.
Absolutely. We could not deliver our programs without our volunteers, another key group of people that support us. We oftentimes say they're the heart and soul of the work that we do here at Dress for Success. We are very fortunate to have worked with more than 1,000 individuals who really embrace the mission of our organization. So those include subject matter experts who help us in delivering financial education programming, those others that come alongside of us to do workshop facilitation, one-on-one coaching, providing the technical support by way of teaching our women how to do Microsoft Office training, and mentoring. And then the thing that we know that we're most known for, the suiting program, getting the woman the suit in preparation for the upcoming interview.
So we have subject matter experts. We have an amazing group of community advisors who help to open doors for us. We have a great event committee that brings this event to everyone every year. And then we also have a really dedicated and plugged in board of directors. So we're going to introduce to you one of our board members, Tanita Alexander, and she's going to help us present the Paradigm Award.
It is my pleasure to serve on the Dress for Success Board of Directors. I chose Dress for Success because I want to be an advocate for the mission to empower women to achieve economic independence. As a 100-year-old company, TIAA has prioritized giving back to those that serve others throughout our history. Like the team at Dress for Success, we are committed to supporting organizations that help lift people out of poverty and onto a path of self-sufficiency by providing them with the workforce development tools to secure, retain, and advance employment. TIAA is honored to sponsor the Dress for Success Charlotte Paradigm Award. This award is in recognition of linking individual and corporate philanthropy with social needs activism, particularly with a strong focus and commitment to advancing women. It is my honor to present you the 2020 Paradigm Award honorees, Mark and Jean Miller. Mark and Jean are a true Renaissance team and greatly respected Charlotte philanthropists. The Millers share a mutual commitment to Dress for Success. They believe that the organization's mentoring model and ongoing education programs are exceptionally successful in empowering women to realize their potential. In addition to their exemplary volunteer support at special events, workforce development programs, and special project consultation, their generous financial support over the years, including matching grants to leverage new donors, has helped the organization serve more than 800 women annually. Congratulations, Mark and Jean, on being named the 2020 Paradigm Award honorees. It is my pleasure to invite you now to share with us why it matters.
Thank you, Tanita.
And thank you, TIAA.
We are honored to be recognized for the Paradigm Award this year, particularly when so many in this virtual room have done so much.
We're often asked why we got engaged with Dress for Success. Today, we would like to share with you how what started with professional activity turned into passionate personal philanthropy.
Or as we like to say, how it went from the head to the heart. When Jean and I moved to Charlotte, I was asked by my employer, Accenture, to revitalize the corporate citizenship program, and I led a process of evaluating the nonprofits in Charlotte. Dress for Success hit the mark, particularly when you view it through the lens of economic opportunity and mobility. Every woman who is helped by the program and is given opportunity, and the woman who raises herself out of poverty brings up to 6 family members with her. If you're going to make a difference in the community, those kind of numbers make a real difference, and this is a great place to start.
And what got me started was when we arrived in Charlotte, I got involved with Women's Impact Fund, and through that gained an intimate knowledge of many of the endeavors in Charlotte. I was very, very impressed with Dress for Success.
And so the head told us to get involved, and we did, with corporate grants, arranging for volunteers, pro bono activities and the like, and both of us personally volunteering for the women's professional group multiple times and helping out there. And of course, the stiletto swagger, with me winning Best in Show and Best in Dough.
And that is when it moved to passionate personal philanthropy.
From the head to the heart. You see, we got a chance to see the work that is being done every day in this organization, and it really resonated because we've needed help in the past as well. It's much more than the suit here, and the type of programs that they provide and the type of help they provide, the skills development, the workplace etiquette, the coaching on how to be a professional, and most importantly, I think, is the ongoing mentoring program even after you're into the workforce, because that's only the starting line. Everybody has challenges with a difficult boss, conflicts between childcare or family and work, and your first personnel evaluation and what you do with that. Dress for Success not only gets these women to the starting line, but helps them along the race as well.
Because everyone stumbles, and Dress for Success helps you get over those hurdles.
That's right, that's right. And they do amazing work here.
Absolutely. Curry, Fontella, Sally, Pam, all the many, many volunteers, the many donors, and the women that are served, you are all amazing, amazing.
That's right. And so we ask you to join us and move from the head to the heart, and particularly this year, pay it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mark and Jean. Thank you for your tremendous gifts of time and talent and resources, and for inspiring so many others to give through your advocacy, your generous gifts, your matching gift challenges. They have brought so many new donors to the organization. And we're honored to have you as our Paradigm Award honorees, especially in this milestone year. So Fontel, we've talked about community and networks, we've talked about leadership and mentors, and we've talked about the role we have in sharing our wisdom and our resources and really paying it forward, because everyone has something to give. We love when we have an opportunity to bring accomplished subject matter experts to the table and who have a legacy of helping others, especially women. So here with us today are two women we will all agree are trailblazers and pioneers, Joyce Russell and Susan Packard, and they have a lot in common. It's been a real joy to get to know them through their work, through their philanthropy, and the books that they've written, which really guide women in life and in their careers. So through their professional journeys, it's no surprise that they've become fast friends. They have an incredible amount of respect for each other, which is so evident in their conversations and exchanges. So let's listen in to today's conversation with Joyce and Susan.
So thank you, Curry, so much for having me and Susan to the luncheon today. We're just thrilled to be here, and I'm super excited to introduce my friend Susan Packard and ask her some really wonderful questions that all of us are so curious about. The last 6 months has been pretty stressful for all of us. One of the things that as a leader I was coached on is when times were tough, to honestly say that instead of just being so positive all the time. And so I wanted to acknowledge that things are tough right now for all of us in certain ways. But sometimes we're afraid to admit that to ourselves and to others. And so I've had to pay exceptional attention to what I call self-care. And you talk a lot about meditation, self-care. I really felt like I had to be at the top of my game in exercise and what I ate and the amount of sleep to be able to conquer the world each and every day. So what you just tell me a little bit about, have you developed your own way to deal with what's going on right now in the world, and just give us some hints and tricks and some advice?
Yeah, I mean, it is such an unsettled time for everyone. And I know you mentor women, and I mentor and coach women. And so one of the things that I do meditate every morning. I wake up, I have a cup of coffee, and I sit for 20 minutes. I can't imagine starting the day without grounding myself that way. It just allows me to start the day in a calm way. And emotional fitness is that idea of being in a place of steadiness, peace of mind, and joy, which I've written about. And one of the tools that I found myself using, and I suggest for others to use too, is name it, claim it, and let it go. Because our emotions are all over the place right now, sort of boiling over. And if we can name them, give voice to them in some way, they really lessen their hold on us. And, whether you do that with a best friend or, it doesn't matter. Or you can journal it during this time, but somehow to get those emotions out, because when you actually do that, they really do lessen their power over you.
I love that idea of journaling. I'm not doing that, but now, Susan, I may be journaling a little bit. You mentioned, the books that you've written, and in your second book that I loved, everyone, it's Fully Human.
Thank you.
A lot about trust. And so I wondered, if you could elaborate a little bit on trust and trust in the workplace. I know at HGTV, you built an amazing culture there.
Right.
Trust was one of the, bedrocks of that. Can you talk a little bit about trust?
Sure. Well, I will tell you that coming into the job at HGTV, I had very little trust in my colleagues because I had just come from an environment that was very political and very siloed. And so when I I was the second employee at HGTV, and we started building a team of startup folks. I had a very hard time. My guardrails were up really high. But over time, I realized that this team was so trustworthy that I needed to honor them with my trust. And it became a real tent pole of our culture is trust. But one of the things that I did learn along the way is that trust can't be transactional. So I came from this environment where, you traded favors, but that's not trust. That deep trust is about having a little bit of vulnerability, in relationships, but it's also about respect. And I was thinking about our friendship, and I don't know if you remember, but we met at C200 at a women's organization a few times. And then we were together in Tuscany at that Women's Equity Forum.
Yep.
And I went up to you, and I didn't know you very well. And I said, Joyce, I've written this book for women, and I'm going to organizations and I'm talking about it. And I'm wondering if you think Adecco might be interested, and you might be interested. And do you remember what you said back to me?
No.
I need to read it first. And I thought, I immediately gained so much respect for you because in a way you were sort of thinking about and protecting your people, right? I mean, this person is going to come in. I need to read it and make sure that it's appropriate and will help them. So respect and now we have amazing trust. We talk about family. We talk about going on vacation together, but it takes time and you build it. But what are your thoughts about trust?
I feel the same way. I think you built it. I forgot, we were in Tuscany together. And that was, Susan, this book.
Right.
And I remember you came to Adecco and you spoke to the women of Adecco and made such an impact that we still talk about the book and we still use Susan Packard, little next play, all the things that you had in this book. So I do believe that trust is built on. And I think it's the foundation for a trusting relationship is that cornerstone of that word that's so important. And it's helped both of us build amazing teams and amazing cultures.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a little bit around trust is the importance of trusting yourself, your self-worth, your self-esteem. Move into that area of trust, which you talk a lot about in Fully Human.
Yes. So self-esteem is something that I have so much energy around that I'm doing workshops about it, and there are a lot of people coming. So it's saying to me, I don't know if it's this time or if generally that people are trying to gather as much sense of self and grounding as possible. But one of the workshops that I did this summer on it, I told a story that seemed to have some resonance, which was that my husband had asked me one day as I was building HGTV, what's up with all those older ladies that are in your life right now? And I said, what older ladies? You know how you get too close to things sometimes? And he said, well, like your aunts and our friends of our mother, our mother's friends. And he said, even recently, your boss's mother, you write to them, you call them, they call you, they write to you. What's up with that? And I realized, and they were just all champions. And they never judged me. And I realized in that moment in time that I was sort of borrowing self-esteem from other people, and I needed to grow my own. And you need to grow your own so that you can best inventory your gifts, your talents, and give them back to the world. So, there's lots of ways you can grow your own self-esteem. And that includes just in your background story and what you overcame, which I'm thinking about with Dress for Success. It might be that some of the clients have probably overcome some amazing things, to be where they are today. It's every time you ask, not just, who am I, but who can I become? What is the promise of me? It's all of these things. It's every time you make your soul visible to others, like all of these wonderful folks that are here working and volunteering for Dress for Success. All of those ways build self-esteem. And we need to grow our own instead of always sort of borrowing it from other people.
Thank you, Joyce and Susan. We know you took time out of your very active schedules to be with us today. Joyce, the financial support Dress for Success receives from the Adecco Foundation is transformative, and it really is changing the direction of people's lives. And Susan, we're thrilled to have you join the Dress for Success family here in Charlotte, and for allowing us to share your book. New Rules of the Game, 10 Strategies for Women in the Workplace, will be prominently displayed in our Career Center along with Joyce's book, which is Put a Cherry on Top, Generosity in Life and Leadership. Now, for the full interviews with Cynthia, with Joyce, and with Susan, go to our website after the program and listen in to some additional information that will change your life. Before we get to the big reveal, we want to thank each of you for joining with us today. We hope you enjoyed the program, and we hope you heard something that will inspire you to consider a thoughtful and proportionate contribution to Dress for Success. Thanks to the wonderful support of our donors, our dedicated volunteers, we are able to bring all of the resources we've talked about today at no cost to more than 800 low-income women annually. Like I said, some of these women will come through the doors one time, while others, like Brenda and Linda, will utilize services multiple times throughout the year and throughout the years. And with high unemployment rates due to COVID-19, we have many returning after once again becoming unemployed. People who went through the recession, lost their jobs, came to Dress for Success, and are now back because of COVID-19. We are providing these workforce development services to help a woman secure employment as a means of achieving economic upward mobility and to strengthen their families. But it is also a community for these women, and it's a network that leads to access and opportunity. And these are the very things the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks relies on, the coach of the Charlotte Hornets, the CEO of the Adecco Foundation, and the co-founder of Scripps Networks Interactive, and the former COO of HGTV. Remind us, Coach Borrego, why it matters.
It's extremely important to celebrate women at this time. They're the backbone of our communities, of our homes, of our families. And now more than ever, we're seeing women taking on bigger roles, larger roles in our communities, as leaders, as focal points in our communities, in organizations, and in our country. It's extremely important that we support that.
Thank you for joining us to give our clients and their families that community, that opportunity, and that network of support to thrive in work and in life. Just one more thing before the big reveal. Save the date for the 2021 Ultimate Power Lunch, Tuesday, September 21st, 2021, the Fillmore, Charlotte.
And now it's time to reveal the much anticipated 2020-2021 Swagger of the Month calendar, featuring those brave men who came out in May to raise the heel for women at this year's Stiletto Swagger. They showed up in stilettos, they showed up in pumps, and they showed up in Mary Janes, all to raise funds and awareness for Dress for Success. A special congratulations to Ron Everett of Synchrony, this year's top fundraiser. Jim Burrows of Slalom, he took home both Best Video and Best Swagger. Brent Fatishi from Wells Fargo for Best in Show, and Matt Six from Electrolux with the infamous Bless His Heart. Thank you for being such great sports guys. We'll be mailing out a copy of the calendar to everyone in the coming weeks who has made a contribution of $75 or more. And so that's a wrap for the 2020 Ultimate Power Lunch. Thank you to all our event sponsors, our event committee, our table host, our special guest, and to you for making this year's event memorable. Let's bring back Kai and Kay to share their music with us as we say goodbye. Thank you.
Stars above, the stars, oh, they call to me, they call to me. I see a vision of who I want to be.